What's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing? I would like to welcome every single one of you to the Leaders of Tomorrow conference. I am your host, Femi Lawson, fine boy, no pimples, just dimples, just dimples. And, you guys got a treat for today, We have a lot of great speakers that's going to be joining us. It's going to be a good time. So first and foremost, I'd like to welcome you guys to the Leaders of Tomorrow. We got to give a big shout out to our sponsors, Cadillac Fairview and the Toronto Foundation. Now, I'd like to welcome, all the students, all the parents, all the guardians. Obviously, we know that this year was kind of complicated, due to the fact that, COVID kind of just took the world on a whole different turn. But that's okay. We're going to focus on the positivity. That's what we do. We're glad that you guys are here with us, and we're going to help you guys explore this very important time of your life. You guys are not alone. That's one thing you guys have to realize throughout the entire conference is that you guys are not alone. So the Ontario Black History Society is a society that basically focuses a lot of their endeavors on, anything that has to do with anything Black students go through. They have a lot of events going on through the year. They're going to have a bunch of things going on during this pandemic as well, too. So you should look out for that, and I'll explain more as the show goes on. I want to let you guys know also that the members of the board of directors, including the OBHS president, Natasha Henry, are here watching the show and are also here with you. We know that, you guys are going to be our future members as well and future board members, and the list goes on. I'm going to introduce right now a former OBHS summer student, Razia States, for the land acknowledgement, and a current Juilliard student, musician William Leathers. You may have seen William recently on CNN in the streets of New York when they were celebrating their presidential win. So right now, we're going to get into Razia States, and we're going to hear O Canada by William Leathers. Stay tuned.
As a Métis individual myself, whose background and mother comes from the province of Nova Scotia, in which my Mi'kmaq community calls home, and also an individual with African roots. Yes, my father was born and raised in Tanzania and Africa, and I'm so proud and honored to be doing it. So today we acknowledge the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of the many nations, including the Mississaugas of the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, and the Haudenosaunee, and the Wendat peoples, and is now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississaugas of the Credit.
That was amazing. Everybody in the audience, please give them a big, big round of applause. Big, big round of applause. I got to see you guys in the comment section. This show is just getting started. We have a lot more coming up right now. I wanted to let you guys know that that last person that you heard, William Leathers, he is an amazing saxophone player. He plays piano. We were catching up on live earlier on Instagram, and he's doing amazing things. So big ups to him as well. Right now, I'm going to introduce someone very, very special. She's Juno nominated, independent artist Chelsea Stewart, from Rotherham Sunsplash in Europe to Reggae Sunfest in Jamaica to arenas in South Africa. Chelsea is continuously making moves and making people move with her style of reggae music worldwide. She's going to be singing Lift Every Voice. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing Chelsea Stewart.
Hello, everybody. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the lightning skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark path has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day becomes. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, Thou who has brought us thus far on the way, Thou who has by thy mind led us into the light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. Shadowed beneath the hand, may we forever stand true to our God, true to our native land. So, as Femi said, my name is Chelsea Stewart, and it's an honor to be here. I went to Humber College myself. I studied jazz music, and before that I went to Mayfield Secondary School and I studied jazz and classical music out there. I just want to recommend to all the students out there that when you're picking your career path, make sure it's based on your passion, because you'll be miserable if you're not passionate about what you're doing. So your passion is your purpose, and just keep that in mind when picking your courses and picking your major. All right.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. That was amazing. Could you guys please give her a big round of applause on the inside? That's what's up. Right now, we're actually going to get into a little video about who I am. So let's get into that, and we'll speak a little bit after.
You know, throughout the years, I got to find myself within Ryerson. I joined the Black Students Association. I was vice president, and that was an amazing experience as well. It helped me to really expand and grow as a person and realize who I was more, connecting with other Black students from different diasporas. People don't realize that while you're in university, you're making a lot of connections. You're getting a lot of experiences that can be transferable into many different job streams. You know, I think my mind changed for my major about 3-4 times while I was at Ryerson, which is something very common. But sometimes you have this linear way of thinking where it's like, I'm in this criminology field, I can only do criminology things, when you actually can do a lot more. Because, you know, when you could deal with people, you can, you know, work in HR, you can become an actor, you can do all these different things. So it's not good to always focus on one thing, because it could block different, you know, opportunities coming your way. So while I was at Ryerson, I was having a budding YouTube career as well. And that was kind of my way of expressing who I was, this, you know, first generation Nigerian, Canadian, you know, West End living Toronto guy. So I thought the best way to express myself while going to university was to create these YouTube videos. And then with learning everything I'm learning within, you know, within my lectures, you incorporate that in a comedic way in some of the content you put out. So I started to notice how there was a lot of dialogue under a lot of my videos in regards to culture, in regards to how people perceive people to be. You know, a lot of these topics that we also speak about and we debate about within our classrooms. And you know, now we have this new media where you're able to put everything up and kind of see it first, you know, in real time. And I thought that was an amazing, amazing experience. I kept being myself throughout. And that's one thing that really made me happy. The fact that I could keep my authentic self in these environments. And it helped me to, you know, go to my classes with that same mentality. It helped me to write my exams with that same mentality. You know, get a lot into these different positions. And it made me who I am today, because I am still Femi Lawson, fine boy, no pimples, just dimples, just dimples. You know what I mean?
Hey everybody, thanks a lot for watching that. So that video was done, I think maybe a year or two ago. So I did go to Ryerson University. One of the reasons why I went to Ryerson is because I grew up in Gin and Finch, and at the time, you know, growing up, you know, we used to get stopped by cops pretty often, and for no reason. So instead of being someone that just complained about it, I wanted to actually understand it, and so I decided to get into criminal justice. And it was quite a transition, to say the least. But I was really happy at the fact that I got to study a field. I got to challenge people, you know, in my class. I got to challenge professors, and it was quite a journey, you know. That led me to meet some amazing people that were just as ambitious as myself, you know. But it was also very challenging as well. And I think, you know, I was talking earlier, I think, you know, nothing good comes when it's easy. You know, when you have that, you know, feeling in your chest where it's like you feel uncomfortable, that's growth. When you're too comfortable, that's stagnant. So I always made sure that I kind of pushed myself forward. Fast forward to today, I went on to York University and I completed my master's in arts education and youth. Reason being is because I found the criminal justice system to have a lot of systemic racism, and I couldn't see myself working in a field like that. However, I found a way to try and use what I learned there to kind of flip into, you know, helping those young individuals not even get involved in criminal justice system. So I would, you know, sit on the board of outreach and, you know, start my own community programs, apply for grants, run my own programs, and, you know, apply for funding. And, you know, my master's in arts education and youth has a lot to do with that as well. Apart from all of that, I'm also a YouTuber. You know, I have my friends like Latoya Forever, who's now on like Real Housewives of Atlanta, Michelle Clark, Marlon Palmer, for y'all. So I came up with kind of the elites of the YouTube world way back before anybody knew what that really was. And that got me a lot of opportunities. And everything I was doing was just simply you know, kind of my own kind of story, my own journey. And it was really, really good. And it was a crazy experience. I'll speak more about myself as the day goes on. But again, we would like to thank our sponsors, Cadillac Fairview and the Toronto Foundation, for putting this together. Again, a lot of you students are probably thinking like, you know, what am I going to do next? Like, again, I told you this year is a little different, but don't worry, because we're going to answer all your questions and concerns today. And if we can't answer it today, definitely in the next 2 weeks, everything is going to be answered. Right now, I want to let you guys know that one of the things and the reasons why you guys are here is because we actually created a nice toolkit for all of you guys to kind of take away things. Because sometimes, you know, I know one of my issues going into university as a first generation student, I'm like, how do you find, like, you know, the application, and how do you accept your offer, and, you know, simple questions like that. So we have had all the questions and concerns. So right now we're just going to show you the toolkit that the Ontario Black History Society developed. And that's what we're going to get into right now. So let's take a look at the toolkit.
Hello, everyone. I go by the name of Femi Lawson, and I'm here joined with the Ontario Black History Society. First of all, congratulations to you for considering post-secondary as an option. Now, as you may know, this year is a little bit kind of complicated with COVID and everything going on around the world, but no worries. I'm going to show you guys what you can expect going on to campus and some of the perks that you guys can get from going on campus as well. I'm going to take you guys on a little tour, Ontario Black History style. So come with me, sit down, relax, and let me show you guys what's popping. We realize some of you never got to do the online campus tours due to the fact that COVID has shut down a lot of our universities and colleges. A lot of things are going virtual, online, so a lot of classes will be online as well too. This video is just to show you an example of things that you can see when campus does open eventually in the near future. The first thing we should talk about is money. I'm sure some of you are sitting at home thinking, man, I can't afford university. It's too expensive. Don't even worry. The government has set up a very easy system for you to access money so that you don't have to pay until you graduate. Sometimes you don't even have to pay years after you graduate. It's called OSAP, aka the Ontario Student Assistance Program. For more information, you can go to your institution financial aid office or go check out the OSAP website. What are other ways that you can get money? Well, another option are grants and bursaries. Did you know that every year there are over $8 million of unclaimed grants and bursaries? Don't be part of that statistic. Bursary and grants are money that you can apply for based off of your circumstances. Here's a couple sites that you can apply for to see what grants you're eligible for. Wow, that was a lot to digest. I hope you guys took it in. The next thing you guys are probably thinking is, how am I gonna get situated in university? How does it look? Well, we're gonna talk about lecture halls. One of the first things you will notice coming onto campus is the fact that lecture halls look nothing like your one-dimensional classroom sizes in high school. In fact, lecture halls on campus can accommodate anywhere from 200 to 500 people. Each lecture hall has a tiered, fixed seating with tablet armchairs and is equipped with a variety of technology to learn in a very cool-looking environment. Some of these halls have projector screens where the professor will be at the front, kind of teaching students everything they need to know. Those lecture halls are pretty big. Coming up next, we're going to talk about something everybody loves, which is being athletic. So let's take a look at some of our facilities like the gyms in a lot of these universities and colleges. Universities and colleges have state-of-the-art facilities from basketball courts, hockey rinks, and workout facilities. Most schools also have sports teams, so you'll be able to try out and enjoy the perks of being a student athlete. That gave me such a sweat. But right now, we're going to go into something a little different. For those of you that like books, let's take a look at some of the best libraries that some of these universities and colleges have to offer. Most post-secondary institution libraries are very different than your typical library because the amount of resources that they come with. Since you are on a university or college campus, there is a lot of money put every single year to enhancing students' education. They are committed to the academic success of all students by supporting, by teaching and learning, and the advancing of scholarly research and creative activities. A lot of these schools are happy to help students with editing, proofreading, and other services that will help with your academic success. I just wanted to thank you guys for coming along on this virtual tour brought to you by the Ontario Black History Society. Now remember, this was just a small example of some of the cool things you can find on campus. There's a lot more to explore and to see. So remember, your job is to make sure you go on your university or college website and you can check out some of the cool facilities and details in regards to how you can apply for OSAT, how you can sign up for gyms, and how you can get into a lot of different areas in the school that you may not necessarily know about. Now, your job is to explore. This is going to be 4 years of your life and you have to make sure you have fun. Don't worry about what's going on around the world. Worry about you and your future. If you want more information, click the links below. I go by the name of Femi Lawson, fine boy, no pimples, just dimples. And this is the Ontario Black History Tour. For more information or details tours of the specific institution, please visit our website at www.obhsleader.
Hey everybody. So right now, this is the website that you guys can click on. So right now, you can see that the OUAC, I'm sure some of you guys received the code online. You click the OUAC, Ontario University Application Center, and there you can click and you can check on your status of your application. So for those of you that received a code in the mail, the easiest thing to do is to go on the Ontario University's Application Center rather than going on each university's website. So we're going to touch more about funding opportunities later on, and we're going to get into more details because there's a lot of money out there that we want every single one of you to get. So we're going to move on to that a little bit later on. So right now, I want to talk financing. So I'm going to introduce to you Christina Hawata, which is a TD branch manager and assistant branch manager, and Kenisha Sutherland. And we're going to get into that right now. Hey, Christina.
Hi, my name is Christina Hawata. I'm a branch manager in Edmonton, and with me presenting is Kenisha Sutherland, assistant branch manager in Calgary. I'd like to thank Ontario Black History Society for having us on this platform. It is such a pleasure being here. Kenisha and I are members of the Black Employee Network at TD, and TD's National Black Employee Network was established in 2007 in support for the bank's ongoing commitment to engage and advance visible minority employees across the organization. We are the Perry Region chapter led by Shonette Fraser, DVP in Calgary North. The Perry region consists of Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and the Northwest Territories. Black Employee Network is focused on and dedicated to achieving advancement through the 3 pillars of employee engagement, community engagement, as well as recruitment. TD is an excellent company to work for and often tops the various best employers list, gaining lots of national recognition. TD is really committed to diversity and inclusion, one of the cornerstones of our bank. So Kenisha and I we are here to talk about building your financial confidence as a student. We will cover student checking accounts, student lines of credit, as well as the TD scholarship program. TD does provide you with advice on all your spending, saving, borrowing, planning, and financial needs during school and beyond. More than 683,000 people have been supported through our financial education and programs by TD. No matter which journey a student takes preparing for school, it does come with different forms of uncertainty as well as anxiety, especially for young adults. And COVID-19 has certainly amplified this reality. To help you plan and prepare venturing into the financial world, you need to identify your financial needs, your wants, as well as your goals. Discover what influences your spending, learn how you can make those informed consumer decisions. Calculate the cost of the credit, really important, and prepare a budget. I will turn it over to Tanisha, who will go over how to spend, save, borrow, and plan for the future.
Thank you, Christina. It is important to understand how to spend, save, borrow, and plan. However, I'm going to discuss more about establishing a good credit history. TD offers credit cards that you can qualify under student guidelines for post-secondary students with no income needed. To create your own credit rating is through the way you manage your money. Overall credit ratings is an important factor in determining the type and amount of credit that you may be eligible to receive at any given time. You need to finance your education, even to buy your dream car. That is why it's important to establish and maintain the highest ratings possible. To learn more of how you can maintain a good credit, you can visit our branch or on our TD platform. We offer student checking account. The student checking account is available for full-time post-secondary students with no monthly charge, as well as we offer the student line of credit. TD does offer flexible financing for your future with the different packages that we have. They come with different perks. As a student, you will have a free checking account, free credit card, line of credit to help you finance your education and to further your studies. Our professional student will have free access to TD Wealth Financial Plan. We're going to move on to TD Scholarship. TD is committed in opening doors for more inclusive, sustainable tomorrow, creating a condition so everyone has a chance to succeed in a changing world. Unique in Canada, the TD Scholarship for Community Leadership offered to students who like to help support changes, nature program, and contribute to making the world a better place. Has shown exceptional initiative in making a meaningful and lasting difference in the community. And I'm going to pause for a short video.
The scholarship recognizes youth that are really active in their community, they're leaders, and they're looking for a way to change lives.
It rewards something that a lot of other places don't recognize, which is taking initiative. If you're considering applying to the awards, just do it. You've got nothing to lose.
It can really help turn some things around and take you to places that you didn't think that you could go.
There's some deep friendship relationships that happen there. It's a lifelong membership to a really cool family.
I feel like the world sort of makes you cynical, and then you attend these award ceremonies and you hear about these amazing things, young people are doing, and you realize, yes, like there's hope in the world.
Really kind of astounding how whenever you get a group of TD scholars together, you really see the face of Canada.
When I look at the TD Scholarship Program, I always say that the scholars are 20 reasons to feel confident about an inclusive and sustainable tomorrow.
budget for your post-secondary life. TD just launched our new student budget calculator with 5 easy steps. The tools helps you to determine the cost of a school year by year by breaking down the estimate costs and contribution that are a part of the student budget. We want to thank you so much for having us here, and we trust that this information will help you further. Thank you.
Sorry, I was muted. I wanted to say thank you so much, Christina and Kenisha, for all the information you guys have given us. I know a couple of friends that had the TD scholarship, and they give a nice chunk of money still. I cannot lie. So you know, definitely big ups to TD and everything that they're doing in regards to diversity. And the good thing about it too is, you know, a lot of students always think it's all about academics. You know, you'll realize that some of these scholarships have to do with your community leadership. So, you know, even though you think that that little after school program you do doesn't mean anything, you know, you put that in an application to TD and you never know. So we're going to talk more about, you know, scholarship opportunities and get more into detail with things. But again, Christina and Kenisha, thank you so much for everything that you guys have kind of given the students today.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, so we're gonna keep the program moving. I gotta make sure that everybody's still in the audience. So, you know, right now I'm just gonna play a little bouncy music because I feel like right now we gotta get everybody amped up. You know, it's Friday night, it's 6:40. So the next person that I'm gonna introduce coming up is actually a hockey player. So this hockey player went to Yale, played hockey, and currently is playing for the American national women's hockey team. She's a defenseman, currently playing for the Metropolitan Riveters for the National Women's Hockey League, and recently graduated from Yale University. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause for Soroya.
Hello, everybody. I'm so honored to be here and talk to you all. I guess I'll just talk a little bit about what my path has looked like. So I grew up just outside the GTA. Well, I grew up in Oshawa, Ontario, if anybody knows where that is.
Oshawa?
Yes. So I started playing hockey at a really young age. My dad put me in it. My dad had grown up in Scarborough and had always loved playing hockey, so he decided to put me in that. And that's kind of what led me to my post-secondary education. So obviously, I'm sure we have some student athletes in the audience, and our path sometimes looks different than others just based on recruiting and our sport. So for me, I started being recruited around 10th grade. And with this, I think that led me to really focus on my high school marks and focus on what I wanted to do for post-secondary. So my first piece of advice is to continue to focus in high school because those marks do matter, and I think that it can take you lots of places based on what you're into in high school. So with that, I had an opportunity to attend a lot of state schools or take the Ivy League route. And for me, I knew that as a female hockey player, I wasn't going to make millions of dollars in the NHL. So I decided to attend Yale University, the Ivy League, and this was a huge opportunity for me just because I don't think I would have had this without hockey. So with this, I decided to go to Yale, which is in New Haven, Connecticut. And at Yale, Yale's a liberal arts college for anybody who doesn't know. So that means that we have a huge variety of majors. You can change them every week if you want. So I went into Yale being pre-med, wanting to be a doctor, but soon figured out that I did not have a lot of time to be pre-med and play my sport. So I decided to double major in the history of science, medicine, and public health, as well as sociology. So from there, I continued to play my 4-year career at Yale, and actually had no idea what I wanted to do after my Yale career was over, and actually didn't want to continue playing hockey for the most part, but I was drafted to the NWHL's Metropolitan Riveters, so my team's out of New York, New Jersey area, and now I'm currently playing professional hockey and run my own mentorship program. So Initially I wanted to be a doctor, and I think my path changed a lot. And with that, I would just say, do what you love. I obviously love playing hockey, and now I'm doing that on the professional level. And I know that I have my education behind me to back that up once I am retired playing. So I think that education is a huge part of everybody's life, and it should be. And everybody should always make an effort to learn. You can learn every day. This picture here that you're seeing, that was me this past May. I just graduated 2020. And unfortunately, my graduation didn't happen, obviously, because of COVID, which I'm sure a lot of other people had happened too. But my mom threw me a driveway university graduation and had my graduation ceremony online. So obviously it was a little unfulfilling not being able to walk across that Yale graduation stage, but at the same time, I am definitely very blessed and very excited to say that I graduated my post-secondary career. So I'm here to just say that you can do it. I never imagined myself at an Ivy League school or with an Ivy League diploma, but here I am, and I'm so happy that I get to encourage you all.
Yourself up, Soraya. That's amazing, and I think what's even more amazing too is the fact that you decided to, leave the compounds of home to go out to the States where, obviously, here in Oshawa, like Toronto, you probably know a couple people here and there, but you going all the way out to Yale, before you come off, just that decision making in regards to going to university in the States, what are one of the biggest cons, and then we'll go for a pro.
Yeah, I would say I was really excited to move away from home. So anybody who doesn't know Connecticut, New Haven, Connecticut's about between an 8 and 10 hour drive. My dad usually gets there in 8 hours. But yeah, I would say the biggest con, I have a 10-year-old brother, so it was very hard to not be able to be there for those 4 years of him growing so much. But I would say a huge pro for me, I would say I wouldn't have grown as a person as much as I did if I hadn't left home. So I know a lot of people don't have the opportunity to leave home and whatnot, but I would say if you do it, just because I think that you can really grow into your own and you can become that person that you've always wanted to be and kind of cut those strings with your parents and kind of mature and grow on your own. So I definitely would say that moving away happened to be a good thing, even though I was 9-10 hours away and in a different country. But at the same time, I think that the States also provides a lot of opportunities. So again, if anybody has interest in going to the States, I know that involves SAT and ACT testing. I run a mentorship program. So on my social media, you can find that through my link tree. I run a mentorship program, and it's currently completely free. So if you want to hit me up and have any questions, I'm always open to answering those.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, Soraya. And with living on your own, I'm sure one thing that you had to learn was how to cook. So our next guest that we have coming up is Chef Jamie, and we're gonna show a little something how to chef something up. I told you we got you. So right, let's check this out.
All right, hi everybody. My name is Chef Jamie. I'm the chef and the owner, executive chef of Barbacoa Boys, catering company that I started 2 years ago. As you can see, I'm a black male. I've been in the chef industry for over 20 years. I love it. I cook with passion every opportunity I get. How I started was, I was always into food. I love food, love watching my mom cook rice, and just wanted to get in there and cook it with her. And it's just one of those things that I couldn't deny. After a long career of 20 years, I finally started my own business. Catering company is going well, and everything is fantastic. I'm enjoying sharing my passion with friends and family and just doing it for a living. Not many people get to say that they can do that for a career. So today what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is some quick, easy, simple meals. Now I know a lot of you guys are looking for things that you can cook when you're on your own, whether you're with your friends, or just stuff that you want to cook for yourself, right? These are going to be some very simple, easy menus, easy recipes. So let's start with breakfast. All right, so with our chia seed pudding, what we're doing is we're just prepping our fruits. Now I like to use berries for this. This is a very easy, quick and easy that you can have in the morning breakfast, and it goes very well with the oatmeal. What we're going to be doing is prepping it beforehand. I'm going to do a couple of them. We're going to put them in the fridge, and then we're going to have them for tomorrow. Easy peasy. All right, our strawberries are in. Now with the almond milk. So once again, I'm keeping this vegetarian, vegan. So now the pudding aspect of this is the chia seeds. These things are amazing, very healthy, so good for digestion. So as you notice, I haven't added any sweeteners. You can definitely add sweeteners. If you want to keep it natural, you go with maple syrup. Put it in here overnight, it's going to thicken up. Breakfast on the go. So if you find that your chia seed pudding just isn't thick enough, you can add more chia seeds to it, or less if it's too thick. You can also use different berries. I use strawberries, blueberries are fantastic. I would suggest trying it with mangoes. You might be surprised.
All right. You guys got a little quick example. He's going to be coming back with some more recipes. That one was just a little tiny sample, you know, a little tiny sample. I got to put the music on for that because, you know, it's that time. Right now, we are going to get into, the U of T. 1 second.
Yeah, I'll be your Eastern, because these days it's just cliche. All
right. So right now we're gonna get straight into some of the question and answer. And I think I see the chat has some great questions and comments. We're gonna load the question and answer with the toolkit later on. Also, keep in mind that all the recipes that the chef has is included in the toolkit. So bookmark obhsleaders.com and you guys can see everything there. So right now, yes, as I said before, we're gonna get into some of the. I think Gavin is actually here right now, so we're gonna get with talking to Gavin. So who Gavin is? Let me just introduce you real quick. He specializes in art, animation, and design for real-time graphics and systems. His experience working in the game and animation industry as a visual development artist, production artist, illustrator, and art director, texture artist, and modeler has informed his understanding of art production and games and animation. So this is a guy that, you know, can make video games, can do cartoons, and he teaches. So very interesting, very creative guy. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you guys to Gavin.
Okay.
Gavin, you got to turn on your camera so we can see your face. There you go.
Hey everybody, how's it going? Good to be here. Thanks for joining us. So thanks Femi for introducing me, and I just want to talk to you guys a little bit about my own journey, and hopefully offer some encouragement to some people who maybe can relate to my high school experience. So my main message is, first of all, anything is possible. Try to learn from my mistakes, and I'll share some of my mistakes with you guys. Whatever you're striving for, the path forward is generally somewhat uncertain. So you don't necessarily know, if it's going to happen, but work in a way where you actually believe there is a point that you will in fact reach your goals eventually. And based on my own experience, that generally bears out. So when I was a teenager, when I was in high school, again, not sure who I'm talking to, but I was more interested in being popular, right? So I wasn't really super focused on my academics, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I think that's partly because I didn't know what I could do. I think I looked at my peers, and I looked at adults, and I looked at people that I knew, or people that I could see in the world that were professionals. I tried to see who can I relate to, what can I potentially do, and based on that, and based on where I was at that point, I didn't really know where I could fit. So in grade 10, we did a test, and I don't know if they still do this, but we did a test where basically there's a whole bunch of different careers, and basically, you do this test, and then they can say, oh, you should be a doctor, or you should be a lawyer, or you should go and be an accountant, or you should be this, or you should be that. And when I did this test, I was the only one in my class where it came back inconclusive. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool. I liked everything, right? So it came back inconclusive. They made me write it again, and then it came back inconclusive again. And so basically, they just asked me, what do you want to do? What do you want to do, Gavin? I said, I guess animation. I liked the Disney movies at the time. I liked the Tarzan film. I found that kind of inspiring. So I basically said, I guess animation. My parents had different ideas, of course, but basically I I kind of acted as though that was a possible path. So I started researching the career a little bit, but at the time I was also an athlete. I played a lot of basketball, and that's kind of what I was most passionate about. If I were to be able to do one thing, I would of course want to go to the NBA, right? So fast forward a little bit, I ended up going to university for computer science. That only lasted 1 year. I just wasn't in it. I went to school for the wrong reasons, and just my head was not there. And I think that is kind of where I hit my turning point in my life, where I made all these mistakes. I never prioritized my education, and I was kind of just drifting through life, and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. And so basically, long story short, I got kicked out of school after my first year of university. I just did not apply myself. I didn't try. And at that point, I hit a crossroads. Like, I was working in a production kitchen and at the Sky Dome at the time, and it wasn't something I wanted to do personally. I wasn't super passionate about it. And I asked myself, is this the path I want to continue on? You know, the rate that I'm going, it's if I project myself out into the future, it's not going where I want it to go. And so I said to myself, you know, I have these interests. I still like basketball. It's not too late for me. I could go back to school, but maybe I can try and explore some other career paths. So what I did for myself, you know, that helped me kind of figure out what direction I'm going to choose and latch onto. I listed off all the different things that I was passionate about. I listed off, I like basketball. I like acting. I like art. I like animation or comic book or something. So I listed off all these possible careers. And then I listed off the pros and cons of each. And I listed the likelihood of me kind of achieving success in that field. So basketball was, of course, a very slim chance. Comic book artist was kind of also a bit of a slim chance because I just didn't know what I could do or how I could get into that. Same with acting. But then there was animation. I knew that there were animation schools. I knew there was a school like Sheridan. I knew I had some aptitude, you know, in drawing. And so that kind of became the thing. And I crossed everything else off my list. I said, I'm going to pursue this. And so I made a conscious choice, a decision at that point. I'm going to put everything I have into this. I've kind of up until this point, I haven't applied myself. I've never, you know, worked to the point where I could say I put everything, every last drop of what I have into this career or this path, and then seeing kind of what happens. So I decided I'll do that, and I wasn't that great. You can ask my wife. She was my girlfriend at the time. She said I wasn't very good. I thought it was okay, but anyways. I went to school, I applied, I got into Seneca for animation, and I literally slept at school, you know, I was there every day just practicing life drawing, and I didn't know that I could get better. I didn't know that, you know, that was a possibility, but ultimately what I found is that everything I put in, I got back out. You know, I did in fact improve, and by leaps and bounds, I improved. And I think the key thing was I was passionate about it, and I worked at it, and I believed that I could get better. And once I saw that I could, in fact, get better, it fueled me to keep going. And like even this stuff that they're showing now that I'm doing now, I had no idea I could ever do this, even at that point. So even though if I was kind of all right then, I wasn't as good as I am now. And I still look at where I want to go in the future, and that's even better. And you know, like doing even better work, right? So basically, what I'm doing now. So now I'm a professor. I work at Ontario Tech University. So last year, I actually went back to school again. I went to Ryerson, got my master's of digital media. And basically there they taught us programming and digital art and all these other things. And so now I'm a full-time professor at Ontario Tech University, teaching game development to, you know, students, potentially some of you guys, hopefully. And then I also do freelance work. So I've worked with Epic, right? So I worked on Fortnite. I worked on NBA Live, Apex Legend. I worked for EA. I worked for Blizzard. And then
so basically, yeah. you managed to take something that you kind of love to do, which you weren't too sure about, and now you created this career for yourself, and you're doing some of the biggest kind of games you can think of. You know, when you mentioned Fortnite, to even be a part of that, that's amazing. So, you know, there's a lot of people in the comments. Because of time, I'm gonna have to cut you a little bit short.
Oh, okay. I
hope you can stick around, because I'm sure like there's a lot of people that have a lot of comments, because there's not all the time that we hear about careers like animation and gaming and things like that. So we always hear the typical, you know, I come from a Nigerian household. Femi, you must be a doctor or a lawyer. Everything else is just garbage. There is no jobs in it. So even for you to jump into a field about, you know, kind of in regards to that, I think that's an amazing leap. Definitely stepping outside of the comfort zone. So, you know, really, really happy to kind of hear about that. We're gonna come back to you in a bit. So Gavin, I guess you could just say some last words before we kind of move on.
Sure. This last thing, and again, I didn't believe in myself that much in high school, but there's this analogy that I'll bring up. So if you put fleas in a jar, fleas can easily jump out of the jar, right? But if you put the lid on the jar, the fleas will jump to the level of the lid, and they'll never jump higher than that. And then you can take the lid back off, and the fleas will never jump out of that jar. Even their children, their offspring, will never jump out of that jar. So growing up, I thought there was a lid on the jar of what I could achieve in my life, but the lid is off, and that's the same for all of you guys. So whatever it is that you aspire to do, it's possible. The lid's off the jar. You can jump out of that jar. You can achieve whatever it is you want. You just have to kind of put your mind to it. Invest in your education. No one can ever take that away from you. And that'll take you wherever you want.
I respect that. You guys leave your comments for Gavin. Show him some love in the comments. YouTube's going crazy. I'm watching all the comments in there as well too. Gavin, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much. We're gonna watch a couple of ads right now. So let's get to a commercial break. Bam! All right, everybody, we back. Right now, I just want to actually take a minute to thank the team that basically helped to put us together, that reached out to students to develop a program just tailored for you. You know, Gavin mentioned earlier about, you know, sometimes when you don't get a chance and you have that block, you're not going to go higher than that block. We said, you know what, even though there's COVID, even though they're saying, oh, you know, everything is shut down, we're still going to make it happen, and we're going to make you feel as if you are on campus and you are in the school. We got you. So again, we're going to give special thanks to the OBHS manager, Michelle Ann Housal. She's been amazing. Pamela Houston, the creative director, Matthew Pompey, the designer, Mark Studert, and our streaming partners, Charles Matthew Jr., for producing tonight's show. Also, a special thanks to the board of directors, including the Leaders of Tomorrow committee, led by VP Mawuli Shai, for their tireless work with the OBHS. Coming up next, we have you again. I told you, like this whole conference is all about you. It's not about us. It's about you. We're helping you. So I have another treat. You know, for me, I feel like this is such a great opportunity. I wish when I was young, I had this platform. You guys really take it in. We're going to take you on another campus tour. But, you know, this time I feel like I want to introduce you to someone. Deborah Pert is a recruitment officer with University of Toronto. I know some of you probably got accepted to U of T, Mississauga, UTM. So right now, I want y'all to just really kick it with Deborah Pert, all right? So you leave your comments. Deborah Pert, come and join us in the live room.
Femi,
hey, Deborah,
how are you? I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm tantalized. You know, tantalization nation. We're feeling amazing. You know, I got the fireplace in the background. You know, no big deal.
You're just hanging out, just like me. I'm hanging out with a blanket in the back. Yes.
I see you. I see with the backdrop and all that. Okay. That's dope. That's dope.
So Femi, you know what? I want to talk a little bit about a webinar I'm going to be doing next Friday night.
All right.
So
what's it going to be about?
It's going to be about the BAY program. So at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, there is a program that I do run. It's called the Black Access to Educational Excellence Program, BAY.
Bay. Okay,
Bay.
I like that. I like that.
Bay. So I'm going to be talking about Bay. I'm going to be talking about the different programs that we have available. I even have presentations in high schools, and I also have Bay ambassadors. And you guys are going to be meeting, I know, it's crazy, a Bay ambassador a little bit later on. She's going to be on a student panel. But this presentation is going to talk about everything that we've been talking about tonight, about university, about college, about the differences between, about expectations of university, what you should be thinking about with regard to your application, how to apply, what does the process look like, scholarship money, bursaries, loans, OSAP. We're going to get into all of it, Femi.
I feel that. I feel like right now the YouTube comments, you know, I'm in and out of the YouTube comments right now. You know, they're I love the energy, and they love your energy as well.
They're going to get more next Friday. They're going
Friday?
Next Friday. So what they can do is they can register on the obhsleaders.com website. Register on there. And then they can log in. They'll be sent a link to the presentation for next Friday. Log in, and we can sit down and have a chat. They can talk with me too.
And again, I want to remind everyone, like, she works with UFT. So, like, you know, when people are talking about networks and contacts, this is kind of like your first step as a high school student to be like, hey, I got a contact with somebody that's directly with UFT. So if you already have that link, there's no reason at all why you should have any type of questions that go unanswered, because you're going to answer everything that day.
That's exactly it. And you can get in touch with me. I'm easy to find.
So you gonna give the email address out?
I'm gonna give the email.
Stop this. You got to get the whole package. Get the whole package. It's amazing.
You can go onto my website right now and find me. So if you go to the Google machine and you put in UTM, University of Toronto, Mississauga, Bay, you're going to find my website too.
Say less. She said it. Everybody got Google. Everybody got Google.
Everybody got the Google machine.
Come on for TikTok for a second. Go on Google.
What are we talking about?
Come on. Get on that Bay. Thank you so much, Deborah.
Oh, you're very welcome. So next, I do believe there's going to be a video of another Deborah, who is one of my Bay ambassadors, and she's going to be showing a little bit of what it looks like on campus right now. It's not as busy as it usually is. You know, there's this thing going around. She's going to show what's happening on campus right now.
All right, let's check out that video.
Hello everybody, my name is Deborah Lanny, and I would like to take you guys on what I would like to call my favorite hotspots on the UTM campus. Stay tuned. So this is the Rock. This is where I come to work out, hang out with my friends. As you can see, you can get some booster juice before you hit the gym, and to watch all the wonderful home games. And now for my favorite place on campus, the cafeteria. Davis Building, come with me. This is the new and improved Davis Building. This all never used to be here, but now it's here, and I'm here for it. So as you can see, I'm here to study, and stay a little bit quiet. This is the tutorial Ortons that everybody comes to. On a regular school day, the line is like all the way over here. But that's just how much we love it. And in there, there's usually stuff like Quesada, there's Harvey's, and all of that. But I'm sure they just closed off a little bit early due to the pandemic. All right, so we are now at the Student Center. As you guys may know, or may not know, I'm actually the president of a club called the UTM's African Students Association. As a new club on campus, we actually have to come to UTMSU and collect our banking letters. So I'm actually here with one of my execs.
Hey guys, my name is Nugo and I'm the Financial Director and IT Analyst of ASA, and we'll just bring you along as we pick up our checks and banking letters.
Thank you very much. All right, have a wonderful day. All right, so we picked up our banking information, and now I just want to show you guys a really cool space on campus at the Student Center that not a lot of people know about. This place is called the Red Room, and it's really cool and it's really chill. You can go there to study, to hang out, or just to catch a breather. These are other booking rooms that you can book in the Student Center as well. All right, this is what the Red Room looks like. It is temporarily closed due to COVID, but on a regular day, you would just be able to come here and hang out and just chill with the vibes of the music downstairs. And you could also connect your laptop to watch things like a movie night or something in here. Alright, so this is where I previously had my lecture, Pol 336, which is Ontario Politics. As you can see, due to COVID, things have been changed. There's only allowed 59 people in the class. And if you take a closer look, there's a space between each chair. Actually, between every 2 chairs. This is to ensure safety protocols and to prevent COVID-19. So now we're in the CCIT building. As you can see, this is a smaller version of the lecture hall that I showed you before. This is where people have their tutorials. These are actually labs for CCIT students, but everybody comes in here to study, including me. As you guys can tell, I'm so happy to be back on campus.
Shout out to Bay, the program Bay, and shout out to Deborah and everybody on that team. So that was a really cool video. You know, got to show you a day in the life of a university campus. If you guys watched the video previous to that, you know, we had some highlights from Ryerson, York. That was UFT that just played. But you know what? I'm like, you know what? I think it would be right. It wouldn't be right if you guys didn't get to hear about some colleges. You know, we did the uni. We got to do the college. So right now I'm going to join, and I want you guys to help me to welcome Andrea Lewis Alexander. So she's going to speak about George Brown College. So I know some of you in the audience, you know, you guys are doing your college thing, the hands-on, big up to you. So I want you guys to welcome Andrea Lewis.
Thank you, Femi. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing amazing. How you doing?
I first want to thank Ontario Black History Society for inviting me to this presentation. And good evening to everyone who's watching right now. I am the coordinator of student engagement initiatives and also the coordinator of the Black Student Success Network at George Brown College. So tonight I'm going to talk to you about navigating and understanding what should be expected of you when you come to George Brown College or even any post-secondary educational institution. I know it can be overwhelming. And the one thing that we do at George Brown is ensure that as a Black student that you're not alone and that we are here for you. The BSSN, as we're affectionately known, we operate under 4 pillars. And basically, the 4 pillars are academic, tutoring, and accountability, information and referrals, mentorship, and social engagement. So with the tutoring, the one thing that we do mandate is that any tutor is a Black person, which is rare at a lot of colleges, and we insisted on it because sometimes the approach to tutoring can be a bit tricky. And so sorry about that. We want to ensure that our students meet someone that looks like them. Accountability is what we added to the tutoring. So sometimes you don't necessarily need a tutor, but you need someone to hold you accountable, to make sure that you're working properly in your program and understanding your course outline and whatnot. So we have a specialist who will help you navigate that. The next thing is information and referrals. So there are a lot of things at the college that you may not know about. And so we make sure that we tell you. So how to apply for a scholarship, how to apply for bursaries, also how to get in contact with counselors or accessibility aids and whatnot. And this we do, again, we ensure that you have a Black face to assist you. But I mean, even if you're not Black and you're just attending this, there are other support services, and we help everyone navigate that as well. Mentoring. So we focus on career mentorship. So we ensure that if you're in a particular field, business, project management, we try to connect you with mentors in that field so that they can direct you on your career path. And social engagement, one of our favorites. So we do a weekly event called Let's Talk, where we bring together students in a safe space, and that space is only for Black students. And that space, we talk about all kinds of hot topics, trends, whatever it is. So we're able to have those discussions even about professors or classes that they feel are they're being discriminated against, and how to navigate that, how to talk about appeals and all different types of issues. And most importantly, we want to tell you, get involved. If you're at George Brown or any school, part of your student experience is getting involved. You won't be alone. It'll help you on those tough days. You build a network of community. And so it's important to stay engaged at the school and whatnot. And the last thing is, on campus, we are located in the Student Life office. And that's where I kind of hang out. So for sure, please come see us. Again, that's BSSN. We operate at all campuses, but primarily at St. James campus.
Amazing. That's amazing. Thank you, Andrea, so much for all the information. Quick question as well, too. You know, a lot of students, you know, I feel like their biggest thing is they want to feel that there's a home for them in whatever university, college that they're at. What's one of the first things you think every student should do as soon as they get onto a college campus?
I believe most colleges have a student life area, and you usually meet those people at like orientation or something like that. So if you go to your service fairs or orientation, that's usually the place where you can start, or the student association. You know, definitely you can contact, yeah, we're on IG, all kinds of social media. So just look us up. BSSN is what we go on at GBC for Instagram and whatnot. But yeah, for sure, we're in the student life area. And I think most places have either a student engagement or a student association that will have clubs or some kind of engagement capacity that they can meet people at.
Right.
We have George Brown. Everyone knows who we are because we're in your face. We let you know we're there for you. So if you look anything like Black, an ounce of Black, we're gonna come after you. So.
And I can't even lie. I used to go to Ryerson, but I used to go to the George Brown pub night parties. They were pretty lit.
I'm telling you,
they're pretty fun stuff. I can't even lie. Can't even lie.
Yeah, right. I was at Ryerson before too. I was at you know, one of the Raka execs. So
you know how to get down.
I've been around. I got you. Thank you.
I appreciate everything. Thank you so much, Andrea.
You're welcome. All right. Take care.
All right. Take care. All right. Right now we're gonna get into the Aaron Redpath Part 1 video. Let's do it.
I'm Aaron Redpath, and I grew up in Ajax, Ontario. My father came over here from Jamaica when he was about 18 years old. Met my mother here in Canada, and yeah, we grew up in Scarborough and then Ajax. Growing up, basketball was something that just I developed a passion for, and a great love for, and I just continued to play no matter what I did. Basketball was always by my side, so I knew that my parents instilled in me from a young age, if I wanted to do anything with the game of basketball or anything with sports, I had to have the education to go with it. And so I decided that, I'm going to apply myself in school. I'm really going to focus on the sports, and I'm kind of going to let my social life take kind of a back seat. And so that's kind of the decision I made from young. And honestly, I haven't really looked back. I went to high school. I went to J. Clark. I went to Notre Dame and J. Clark Richardson, both schools in Ajax. And there I was able to play basketball. And from there, I was able to obtain a scholarship to go to McMaster University. Now, in going to McMaster University, I chose to study kinesiology. And once I graduated from kinesiology, my number one goal and main priority was to go professionally. So that's ultimately what I did. After going professionally, my first season I played out in Spain. I was able to come back to Canada. I played in the NBL Canada. I played also in the CEBL. I was just kind of traveling and going wherever the next contract was. And basketball is something that has been able to kind of take me just around the globe. I've been to Italy, China, kind of all over the place, just playing the game I love and following the passion. And now that's led me to becoming a coach. So I've been now coaching full time now for just over a year, and it's given me a completely different reward from the game than actually playing it, which I never thought was possible. But that's one thing that I've done, is just adapt and see how basketball can not only be a blessing for me, but how I can make it a blessing for other people by teaching certain things and just being there for players in times of need, because basketball has been something that's been there, as I said, along the way for anything I've been going through in life. And I know it's been my greatest outlet. And so it's for me to be able to help other young kids and young athletes develop their passion and help them succeed at something. It brings me great happiness, and I wouldn't trade my job for anything in the world right now, to be honest.
So instead of the regular simple scrambled eggs, toast, probably some Eggo waffles, whatever you got around the house, I'm gonna do something quick, just as easy, a lot of flavor. And if you have some leftover vegetables, some leftover chicken, some crumbled cheese, pretty much anything in the fridge, bacon goes really well in this. This frittata is a fantastic way to use it. It's also very quick, easy to execute this one. I'm gonna grab a whisk. Going to do a rough chop on these vegetables. Don't want to have giant chunks in your frittata. Want everything bite-sized. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of butter in there. There's a little bit of oil in there. The reason I put the oil in there is to bring down the smoking point of the butter. Otherwise, the butter would burn. Okay, so I got our butter nice and bubbly in the pan. Just want to make sure I cover the edges as much as I can. So I'm going to leave these for about a minute or two. I want the bottom to start cooking a little bit more before I add in the cheese and all the vegetables. Once again, don't forget you can add in anything to this. This is all about leftovers and making things pop. All right, so now I'm going to add in the chopped vegetables. So the bottom's starting to cook now. It's starting to pull up, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit, give it a little mix. I've got my vegetables in there. Always remember to make sure you season your stuff. Feel free to use any cheese you got. Tight on rules when you're cooking, right? It's all about experimenting. All right, so we're gonna place our frittata in the oven. I have my oven set to 375. Should take about 10, 15. I doubt it would take 20 minutes, so we'll check it at around 10, 12. All right, so after about 15, 20 minutes, we now have our beautiful frittata. And what we're gonna do is dig right in. So a breakfast frittata, it's such a very easy, simple thing to cook, doesn't take too much. And remember that you can use anything that's left over in your house, any cheese, any proteins you have, chicken, bacon, potatoes go great in them. And I really love sausage and spinach. Fantastic.
Big up to everybody that like the frittatas. You guys are making me die of laughter in the comments. So we're gonna have part 3 of our chef coming back. But before we do that, I had to add the kicks in the corner here because I saw you guys commenting on the kicks. I said, I should have lined up my kicks from head to toe as well too. But he had some. I saw you guys checking out the J's. I hope you guys were hearing what he was saying as well. But you have to understand, as a student athlete at university or college, there's a lot of perks that a lot of these athletes get. Some of them will get a lot of free kicks, free gear. I know that when I was doing, I didn't play varsity in university, but I played for fun. They were giving out a lot of things in university, so definitely take advantage of that. Right now, I want to remind you guys that many of the resources that we discussed today are going to be on the Leaders of Tomorrow toolkit, including a full cooking, equipment, grocery shopping, and preparation guide that Chef Beston put together just for you. So I know some of you guys are saying, but what kind of seasoning is he using? Like, the man just sprinkled this and sprinkled that. What is it? Don't worry. We got you. We got you. Everything is in the toolkit. So now that you know about applications, funding, and checked out a couple of campuses, I feel like it'll be good if, you spoke to some current university and college students, because I think speaking to others can really help you kind of make your decision. Us that we're speaking as alumni, sometimes you want to speak to somebody that's in it right now. So we're going to speak to a couple of students. The students I'm going to introduce to you is Daniel Rodman, Rasan Wright, Shanice Thomas, Tahila Isaudihuman, Phoebe Adu Boateng, and Deborah Olani. So stay tuned. How you guys doing?
Hi, how are you?
I see you guys got out dressed. I see the lip gloss popping. I see the nice shirt you got on, Daniel, yourself too. I think there's a lot of people in the comments. They're really enjoying the conversation. I just want to hear a little bit about your experience, how you guys are feeling currently in uni, especially during this time, and just share your thoughts with everybody.
Cool. I can do this. My name is Sarah. I'm so happy to be with you guys today. I'm excited to speak a little bit about my experience at school. So really quickly, I'm from Ajax. I went to Pickering High School, and then I applied to a bunch of universities, which I'm sure you guys are all doing now, and ended up deciding to attend McGill University. And I do attend McGill on the TD Scholarship for Community Leadership. So I'm happy to speak a little bit about that as well. But I'm having a great time. Things are definitely different being online and with the pandemic, but there's still so much that you can get out of university experience, even in these kind of unprecedented times. So I'm excited to talk to you guys about it.
Yeah, I guess I'll go next. Hi, everybody. My name is Deborah Olani. I go to the University of Toronto, Mississauga. I'm a third-year student studying political science and sociology with a minor in women and gender studies. I'm the club of a school on campus. I'm the president. Guys, I'm so sorry. I am the president of the African Students Association at school. I also work with the Student Recruitment Office as a community engagement ambassador. I'm involved with different aspects of the school life, like the anti-racism task force. And being a part of the UTM campus has really helped me to open up and be more outspoken. Years ago, you would not see me being on a panel like this, talking to many people. I get really nervous, but being a part of so many clubs has really helped me to personal development and just be more outspoken all around. So I'm really excited to tell you guys more about personal development in university and just letting you guys know that there is a space for you as Black students on the UTM campus.
Thanks, Deborah. My name is Daniel. I'm from Mississauga. I'm in my first year of the teachers program at York University. My undergrad's in kinesiology and health sciences, and I'm part of the concurrent education program. So if anyone has any questions about that, I can help you out with that. I applied straight out of high school. I knew I always wanted to be a teacher. And I had some really great phys ed teachers, and I was like, yeah, I want to be a gym teacher. It wasn't until I was in university that I was able to see a different side of sport. I learned about sport sociology, the social sciences behind sport, and the ways that race, gender, and disability play into sport. And I got inspired from there. I'm now getting a diploma in Indigenous Studies. So I plan to be teaching in high school, but I'm also through school, I learned about different things that I didn't know in high school, and that's how my path took off. So I took an extra year as part of my undergrad, but I'm very glad I did. So if anyone has any questions about how you could change your path in university, shoot your questions also about the teachers program.
Hello? Are you ready? I don't think is her sound working? All right. If for those of you that are on the YouTube stream, leave your comments. Leave your comments if you guys have any questions for any of the panelists here. They're currently in school, and that's a big bonus. So you guys got to hear kind of a 1-2 thing. I guess a question that I'll throw out there is, how is it going, like your first day of classes? What is the most exciting thing that you loved, and I guess what's one of the scariest things that you kind of endured? Anybody can answer.
Okay, for me, I think what was extremely scary, especially on the UTM campus, was the lack of Black representation and Black students that I wasn't really seeing at first. Now I do have a really huge Black community at the UTM campus, but I know coming into first year, I already set my mind on I'm probably going to be the only Black girl in my class, so I'm just going to stay focused, just do my work. And having that mindset already actually limited me from so many different opportunities available to me on the UTM campus. And in terms of getting involved in the Black community, I noticed that towards the end of my first year, I started to see more Black faces, whether that being in my tutorials or professors or friends. And being a part of Black Students Association, African Students Association, really helped to build that Black community for myself. So yeah.
I think for my first day of classes, the biggest challenge that I had was just feeling really overwhelmed. McGill is a very large school. And my first class had about 600 people, and it was a huge lecture hall. And I felt like everybody around me was super smart, and they already knew about all of the class material. And it was definitely overwhelming. But I think that kind of grounding myself and knowing that I got in here for a reason, I belong here, which I think Deborah alluded to, that really make sure that you know within yourself that you deserve to be at whatever institution you choose to go to. That kind of helped me to overcome some of the trepidation I was feeling. And I think as well, being able to connect with wonderful people, even within my classes, just tapping the person next to me, do we need to take notes, like little small things, to people next to you until you start to make some friends and form some connections, because everybody's in the same boat as you. It's everybody's first day of class. So you guys are alike in that way. And I think you can connect with people around you that way. It's not so bad. You guys will survive.
I can go next. A couple of things I liked about going to college was I go to Sheridan College. I'm in the Child and Youth Care program. It was very close. That's one thing I like about Sheridan, because I live in Brampton and I go to Davis campus. So it was very close. A couple of things I liked too from the school. A couple of things that helped me go to the school was meeting new friends, and I felt overwhelmed, and I was a bit scared, obviously, because I don't have friends or anything, right? So I felt scared. And then another thing was everybody is made
everyone's made differently, right? So I came in, I had an open mind, so I was ready to learn new things. So that's one thing that was pushing me to go to the school.
Yeah, I agree with all of you guys. I think first day of school, the most hectic thing was actually finding my class. All of my classes were 8:30 in the morning. Didn't have a chance to get there too early. And York is a pretty big campus, and some of the signs are completely messed up. So for sure, you'll get lost at least once. That was the most hectic thing. I think the thing I enjoyed most was the sense of freedom you get when you step into university. These huge lecture halls. You're on your own. It's a brand new experience. So I think that's the most exciting part of your first day. And now with COVID, if you go into it virtually, it's still an adventure of its own because Zoom has its technical difficulties and it has its awkward moments. But I'm sure you'll make the best of it.
So right now there's a couple of questions. One of the questions is for, I guess you guys can all touch on it, but Risan. They said, could you explain how you applied to McGill? Because I know all the schools in Ontario are only giving info on universities and colleges in Ontario. And then a follow-up question to that was, what did you do in high school to get your TD scholarship? Because a lot of people don't realize that, some of the things you do in high school, you might see it as, it's not all academic based, it's also volunteer based. So if you could touch on those things.
For sure, I'm happy to. So I'll start with the question about how I actually applied to McGill. It is a little bit different because for the Ontario schools, you're able to apply all through kind of one portal. But schools that are outside of your province, it's like more of an individual process. So McGill, I'm not sure if everybody knows, it's in Quebec, it's in Montreal. And so I actually was able to apply to McGill through the McGill University website. So there's a part that has to do with applications, and you just put in what province you're from, or if you're international, you put that in, and it'll take you to another portal. And then much like any other application process, you're gonna have to pay your application fee. Not so much fun, but worth it. And then you're gonna get your transcripts will go in there. For McGill University, it's a little bit different. It's a very academic school. I can talk to you guys about that later as well. So it's completely grades-based. And so they look at your grades starting in grade 11, going up to grade 12. And then depending on how your grades were looking in grade 11, you might get early acceptance, or they might want to wait a little bit and see how you do in grade 12. And then that's how the process really works for McGill. It's very much simple, streamlined, just separate from Ontario universities. And then it's completely grades-based. And then kind of jumping from that to the scholarship question. So the TD Scholarship for Community Leadership is a really cool scholarship. It's awarded to 20 students across Canada. So I was one of 2, I believe, from Ontario. And what I did in high school was a lot of equity work. I did a lot of work with the Black community. And then I also did a lot of student advocacy work. So representing students and student interest in education, within administration. So making sure that principals and vice presidents and vice principals knew what students wanted and advocating for them. Then I also got to do some advocacy work with the province. And then that was a lot of fun because I got to look at education policy for students across Ontario, high school and elementary. So it was a lot of fun. And I would encourage all of you to apply, and don't think that whatever work you have done, isn't worthy of a scholarship, or, it might not be good enough. If you see like certain applications, you might feel intimidated. I did. I wasn't even going to apply at all. But give it a try, because I know that all the contributions that each of you have made to your schools, to your communities are valuable, and people will recognize that. And it's definitely worth a shot. So I encourage you all to apply.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think because of time, we're just gonna get one more question from Phoebe. If you can explain that you're going, what you're doing through Sheridan. So you're going from Sheridan from a diploma to a degree. So could you explain what that process looks like?
Okay, sure. It's a bridge program, so I'm in Sheridan campus at this moment, and then I'm going to Ryerson. It's basically a bridge program, so I'm doing 3 years in Sheridan, and then after 2 years in Ryerson. Yeah. So as you apply, I applied as a bridge program, so that's how it goes.
So bridging. So again, so just to regurgitate, a bridging program will allow you to get both a diploma and a degree.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get an advanced diploma in Sheridan, and then I get a degree in Ryerson. So I'll be getting both.
So, so you get the hands-on experience and you get the theoretical experience.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's good. That's good. What made you make that decision?
At first, I wanted to be a police officer, guys. I really wanted to be a police officer, but then I really I work at Boys and Girls Club. I'm a coordinator there, and I really love working there too. So as I found the child and youth care program, I was like, I can be a CYC. I can still work with children, but I'm in the criminal field. Yeah, so that is why I went into child and youth care, and I'm so happy I picked that because I still have a little touch of both. But that is why I chose child and youth care.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah. Thanks so much for sharing that. Daniel, so we spoke to Aaron earlier. Aaron is an athlete, and he did kinesiology. You started out in kin, but you also realize there's a lot of different paths. Some people feel like there's only one. Could you explain some of the paths and what exactly kinesiology is?
For sure. So many of you, like anyone that's interested in sciences and health sciences, whether that's medicine, physiotherapy, training, will typically lean towards kin. So kinesiology is the study of human movement, that's physiologically and socially. So if the program, basically, if you're getting a Bachelor of Science, so BSc, you're going to focus on math courses, biology courses, and a lot of the physiology courses of the human body. If you're getting a BA, which is a Bachelor of Arts, you're going to focus on more of the social sides of sports and health, right? So I think it's both very valuable information. So if you study the health side, it's because you want to work in healthcare, right? Or helping people in that sense. And if you work on the social side, you'll learn things about the way that oppression works in health, right? Social determinants of health. Why are minorities more at risk of suffering from some diseases more than other people? Why are some people excluded from sports, right? And so the way I initially was interested, I like science, but it turned out that I liked the social side a lot better, a lot more. I was able to express myself, and I was able to kind of understand myself as a minority. I'm a Latino, and I love to help the community, and I think I want to be able to help someone in the future, and I think I'll be more used in that field, and that's how I changed my path midway compared to if I would have stayed focusing on health studies.
Thanks so much for that, Daniel. Tehila, thanks for joining us. I guess you could speak a little bit about your experience in post-secondary, you know, some of your triumphs, some of the things that you feel like you wish you knew going into it. Because we have, you know, we got about almost 500 people in the room.
Oh, wow.
They are watching, so, you know, you can talk about your experience.
Okay, well, my post-secondary experience was a little interesting. I wasn't really interested in going to university, but I spoke with my mom, and she was just like, I really want you to go. So I ended up going. So I got into university for political science, did that first semester, realized I didn't like it, switched to business, did a little bit, didn't really like it, switched to IT, liked it, but not as much. And now I'm in computer science, and I love my major so much. But I really do wish I really took the time to look into the courses that I enjoyed and really asked around. Like that's one thing I really wish I did. I wish I asked around. I wish maybe if it was on the internet, if I found someone who was in a field that I wanted to be in, I wish I probably would have reached out and asked them questions. I really, really, really do wish I did that because it would have saved me a lot of time. Yes.
But, you know, I think it's a good thing to hear someone that gets into a program and is not necessarily happy with the program and comes out of it, because some people think it's the end all be all. So, you know, if we could talk about like adversity, you know, a lot of you spoke on the fact that, you know, some of the classes you went to, you know, were we're one of the few, you know, minority Black students that are in the classroom, right?
Yes.
And how that made us feel. What are some ways that you guys deal with adversity and like struggles in general? What are some of the tips do you give some people going into it? Because I'm sure a lot of people, especially at this time with COVID and everyone going paranoid, it's just that extra stress. So what are some tips that you would give, you know, a lot of these students kind of going into it?
Okay. Well, that's a loaded question.
I guess everyone could just give like one tip.
One tip? Okay. I would say use as many resources as you can. You're not by yourself. You will never be by yourself. There are things in place to ensure that any problem that you need resolved will be resolved. If you're going behind on assignments, you can speak to your teachers. If you're not feeling very well, there's a center at my school where you can go speak to like someone. Anything, if you just look at what your school has to offer, the resources your school has to offer, there is usually always a solution for any problem that you have. Yeah. That's me.
One thing I would say is push yourself, because I stutter, for example. I stutter, right? So I hate presentations. I hate so many things like this. I wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for friends pushing me to do it. But honestly, if you push yourself, you can achieve so much in life. So I guess if you everybody watching, if you stutter, if you have things, I don't know what everyone's dealing with, but if you have something holding you back, push through it and continue to keep pushing, because if you stop yourself, you will never grow. Yeah, so that's one thing I wanted to throw in there.
And for me, to add on to Phoebe's point, push yourself, but also be transparent with yourself, be transparent with your goals, and your mental health is 100% the top priority. That's something that I wasn't really taking into consideration going into university. I just thought, okay, push. No matter how hard things were getting, I was still pushing and I was forgetting my mental health. And I had to realize, take a step back and to unplug and get back. So I know a lot of students think that, okay, these are assignments, we have to make sure to get these deadlines, and you have all these other external factors happening outside of school that are also inflicting in your academic success. You need to remember to unplug yourself and reach out to somebody. I don't know about everybody else's campuses, but on the UTM campus, we do have mental health services that are free for students. And I actually wasn't really aware about those resources because I didn't really go out looking for it. So sometimes it's just about asking for help, getting a hand, reaching out for help, asking somebody just to pick you up, right? Like, it's not every day that you're going to be at 100%. So just understanding that and being able to unplug when you feel yourself getting exhausted, so you don't experience burnout.
I completely agree with everything that's been said, and I think I can just add a little bit. So on top of course, making sure that you're taking advantage of resources that you have and making sure that you're taking care of yourself first, I think something else that's really important is making sure that you reach out for peer support. Support is very important at any type of adversity you may be facing. There's always somebody who can identify with your experience, and you guys can lean on each other through that. So there is some adversity that you may face. I think Femi touched on it, being sometimes one of few Black students on your campus. And something that I would encourage you to do is to seek out any Black student associations that may be there. I'm involved with mine at campus, and it's definitely a really great way to build community. And I think another thing that you can do with any kind of adversity is making sure that you can kind of harness that and be inspired by it to actually create action. And whatever it is that you feel like, oh, I wish I had this to help me through, there's another student who feels the same way. So see how you can actually implement some of those things. And I can speak to my experience at McGill. I've been able to work on a lot of policies to assist Black students through these trying times simply because of that, because I knew how I was feeling. And I thought, oh man, I wish the university was doing this to help us. And then I sought out opportunities and ways to kind of turn that into action. So, you know, if you're feeling that, let's just say you're feeling overwhelmed by adversity, and there's a lot going around in 2020, let's be real, there's always something you can do, always someone you can lean on, and resources that you can take advantage of.
I guess my last question, this is from the YouTube side. Did any of you guys or ladies live on campus? And how was that experience, you know, dealing with roommates that might be messy, dirty, overly overbearing, you know, and the different personality types, you know? So how is that? I see some of your roommate walking behind you.
My little sister just ran. I apologize.
Yeah. How's that experience?
So for me, I actually didn't live on campus. I lived off campus, but I lived off campus with different students from school. I'm not gonna lie, living off campus really shaped character development.
Free life, man.
You know, like it's serious. Like you have to write your name on even ice cream, even a piece of paper, just to make sure that they don't take it. But it really shaped how I deal with people, honestly, because you grow up so much living with your parents and your siblings, and you can just, you know, be rude to your brother, get away with it, you know, do whatever you want, and then, you know, you're still family. You guys still have to connect and have this bond. Whereas like with roommates, it's like, okay, if we're beefing, I'm going in my room. I don't really need to talk to you at the moment. But I really learned like forgiveness. I really learned how to be a bigger person. I really learned character development through living with roommates. And you just learn so much about different people's perspectives on lives. And I feel like having roommates that go to the same school as you really forms like a support system. Like no matter how like tough it gets, how much times we argue, it's like we're both going through the same struggles of the university experience. So when we're able to lean on each other, whether it's like somebody has an assignment and they want to study with you, you might even find that some of them are even in the same programs as you. So you guys can form study groups at home. And it's just like another mini family to come back to, right? So living off of campus is really great for character development and financial development, learning financial literacy. I remember there was days where I'll blow my money and I'll only have $1 and I'll just be starving. And then days where I have to like, so it's like, it really helped me learn how to budget, how to balance, how to, okay, you're growing up, this is for this, you know, your priorities first before your wants, right? So knowing what you need. And yeah, so living on campus, I really advise it for anybody. It's really great. And you just learn so much more about yourself as a person.
Jollof fries over Fashion Nova.
Yeah, sadly. I can go next, if you don't mind. Speaking a little bit about the residence experience. So my first year at McGill, I mentioned to you guys, I'm from Ajax, and I moved to Montreal for school. And in my first year, I was in residence, and it was a nice residence. I made sure that, you know, I wasn't getting the little, forgive me, dinky dorms. I said, I need a little room. I need to stretch my legs. I'm used to my own space. So I encourage you guys all to do this. I tried to apply to get my choices early. So I ended up in a really nice residence. It was actually like, used to be a hotel. McGill has a few things, you know, a few perks. So it was nice.
You're fancy.
Yeah, man. And I had a roommate, and she was from Tennessee. So it was really cool interacting with somebody from another part of the world. I learned a lot about what life is like over there in the States. And I taught her a lot about Canada and Canadian culture, which was a lot of fun. And my own culture, my background is Jamaican. So it was a lot of fun. And I think that, you know, Deborah? Okay, good. I think it was, as Deborah said, a huge kind of lesson in adulting. I remember my first week at residence, I paid my credit card bill, I did my laundry, and I bought my groceries. And I literally called my mom. I was like, who am I? I feel like I'm really an adult now. So I think that there's definitely something to be said for living on campus. You're really immersed in student life. You make a lot of friends, a lot of connections. Even just going down to CAF is probably where I made some of my best friends in university that I still have. So I love the experience of living on residence. It definitely helps when you have those 8:30 a.m. classes, just having a quick walk to get to those rather than something far. But residence was a wonderful experience. Learning to cook was nice. I knew how to cook a little bit before, but I really chefed up, I will say. So it was
the oxtail is elite.
a little bit. So yeah, residence was wonderful. And I think, you know, even though you guys may not be able to experience it in all of its glory right now with this pandemic, at some point you will be able to.
We have 2 minutes left, so we'll just let the others speak as well, and then we're gonna wrap it up. And you guys are free to join the chat after. There's a lot of people saying a lot, so you guys definitely join the chat later on.
Okay, I can kind of attest to the roommate situation.
Start the things. Don't sugarcoat it. You gotta say it like it is. I feel like you had a dirty roommate, didn't you?
Okay, I wouldn't even. Okay, actually no. My roommate was actually very nice, but the things that I didn't really appreciate was her method of communication. When let's say I did something that she didn't really appreciate, all I would get was notes slipped under my door, notes. And it's like, how many trees must we kill before you can open up my door and tell me what you have to say? So I decided to, it always helps to have a one-on-one conversation. Like if you notice that like that method of communication is not working, just be straightforward. It always saves time to be straightforward. It's, yes, it may make you more comfortable to slip the notes, but if you want something legitimately done, you need to be very straightforward. So I was straightforward with her. Let me know what the issue was. I solved the issue and it was fine. That's as far as like some of the bad things that happen in regards to like having a roommate. She could be very picky and I'd be very annoyed, but at the end of the day, we just compromised. Compromise is really big, especially when it comes to the whole roommate thing. You don't always have to compromise. If your name is
I'm getting the the little nudge. I gotta cut the conversation short.
No problem.
But we definitely want you all to stay in the chat and like interact with everybody. We're gonna get back to a video with Erin, and we'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining the conversation. Big ups to every one of you. I wish you guys all the best in your post-secondary endeavors, and we'll see you guys in the chat. Let's go to the Erin video. Can everybody do this real quick on 3? 1, 2, 3. We talked a lot off camera about, some of the trying and hard times that you had to deal with, with the youth these days. A lot of them tend to just quit or give up. How did you handle, a lot of the adversities that you faced? Some of you didn't mention, but, how did you actually get through it and not end up quitting and just keeping that motivation?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So honestly, one of the biggest things, my mom's greatest saying, she always would say to me, it's never over till it's over. And no matter what, we'll be watching NBA games and teams would be down 20 points. And that's something she would just always continuously preach to me. So that's a message that's stuck with me forever. And what happened was, in playing basketball, there's times where, I'm not the best guy on the court. I'm not even on the court. I'm the 12th guy on the bench, and it's depressing. It's like, man, all these guys are better than me. There's no way I'm ever going to be good at this. There's no way. And honestly, the biggest thing you could do is anytime you get into a mode like that is just hone in and lock in, because the rest of the stuff doesn't matter. The rest of it's all situational. So if I'm not playing on a certain team, okay, guys could be better than me at this point in time in their life, but maybe I didn't grow to my fullest potential yet. Maybe I still got a couple more inches to get. Maybe I'm going to get quicker. All the little things that can happen for you day in and day out, just putting in the work, it'll open a bunch of doors for you. And one of the greatest adversities that I faced in my life was my mom passing away when I was in grade 10. And at that point in time, it could have been very easy for me to say, you know what, I'm done with it. I don't know how to move on. But instead, I actually locked in and I really put in way more hours just playing basketball. That was the only thing that brought me any type of peace or joy, was to just be on the basketball court and putting in hours. And because that was my greatest outlet, just putting up shots and watching the ball go in and, just being out there dribbling, doing all types of stuff that nobody else in the world can have an effect on that at that point in time other than you, the basketball, the rim. And so to me, that was something that I just escaped from the world, got onto a court and just worked and just worked and just worked. And my mom would tell me from when I was younger that, you're being too soft on the court or this and that. And she would just tell me certain little pieces of advice that would make me hungry and make me continue to drive and push forward. And when she passed, I was able to really, as I said, lock in. I locked in even harder on my studies, but then I just made sure that because I wanted all my homework done, I'd finish my homework at school itself so that as soon as I left school, I could get right to the basketball court. And that's really where my focus went. And I think that's one of the biggest things is when you're going through adversity, I think if you can just keep your mind busy and focused and locked in, then I don't think there's anything locked in on something that is going to propel you forward, or locked in on something that's going to lead to future success. I think that's the best thing you can do, because it's easy to for your mind to wander and you think about all kinds of things that are going wrong with your life or things that are going wrong in the world. But I think that if you can somehow adapt and find a way to bring some type of positivity out of a dark situation, I think that is what we all need as human beings, just to find a little bit of hope and just to know that, you know, things are going to get better despite whatever we may be going through at this time. But I think for me, basketball has been that driving source and that passion for me that started from young. And as I said, I haven't looked back. It's anytime there's adversity in the game and there's adversity in life. And no matter what it is, to me, the answer is always just hone in, lock in, don't let the mind wander to the negative thing, because it's easy. It's easy. But I think you do have a choice how you want to approach situations. And especially during these times with COVID, the world is so unpredictable, you don't know, but you can always adapt. And that's one of our greatest things as human beings, is having the ability to adapt to situations and find a positive in it, or just find the benefits that can help us overcome it and push through.
Thank you so much for that, Aaron. Really, really dope. But you know, just a real story about, you know, how he overcame a lot of adversity, you know. Right now, I'm gonna introduce you guys to a YouTuber, fellow YouTuber, cultural curator. He goes by the name of Roger, the Milkman. Could you guys give him a round of applause? Show him love as he comes into the chat.
Yes. Can you guys hear me? You can hear me? Oh,
Yeah. I like the green around you. Watch
bootleg
you.
green screen. So until I get enough money to do something right, this is what I'm working with right now. But
well, say less. That green screen could turn into Paris, France, Kingston, Jamaica, Lagos, Nigeria.
Think of. Yep.
That's what's up. One thing that I noticed about your page is you focus a lot on going to different universities, asking questions. I know you have a video of like 10 things you should have, you know, before you move on to campus, things of that sort. What kind of started that entire journey? And what school did you attend?
All right, so I'll start off with your second question. So I went to York, graduated at York with communication. So that kind of helped me in regards to doing the YouTube stuff. And what started with the videos was a friend of mine told me how charismatic I was when I talked to people. So a lot of my videos were actually like, they weren't dealing with others. So what I started doing was incorporating other people. And I thought, well, I should make this a bit more educational. So when people watch it, they could come away with something. And I have nephews and I have nieces. And one thing that I saw with their generation is that they don't really have OGs, like people that could teach them stuff. A lot of the information they get is from the internet. So I was like, you know, why don't I just put myself in an OG situation? Because when I went to university, I had questions. I could talk to my brothers, but nowadays I don't know if people could really talk to anyone to find out how's it like going to this university, right? So I just decided, you know what, let me just do some videos based on that. And here we are now.
Here we are now. Your videos, it's taken you to a lot of universities. Is what you studied in school related to your YouTube?
Yeah. So I took communications. So communications basically deals with it's like the theory of like broadcasting and, you know, the evolution of like radio, television, how we're going into the internet age with YouTube, social media. So pretty much it was like destiny calling, you know, and now I'm here, Milkman TV. I'm representing. Hopefully everyone knows what time it is. And you know, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be able to provide that information of how post-secondary school is, because I think what the thing is, a lot of people, like you have to invest a lot of money in your future, right? And post-secondary school is very, very, very expensive. Not only are you paying for tuition, but you're also paying in some circumstances for residence. You're also paying for commute. You're paying for books. So if there's any way that I could alleviate or help alleviate that for students, you know, this is one medium to do so. But I always like to say, I don't want, like, people hit me up and ask me for advice. I don't really like to give people advice in that instance because it's their future. I don't want to be the person that is in charge of their future. It's your future. It's your destiny. You should be able to jump in the fire and be able to survive because that's what the world is. But if I could provide some sort of help, you know, for you to come to that decision that you'll be happy with, then I could do that. So
you have socials you speak to people on, like, are you a Twitter user where somebody can ask you a question, or is it an Instagram page where it's like, you know, leave your comments and you respond to them? Where can people, like, you know, hit you up and just kind of have that dialogue with you?
People usually just hit me up on Instagram. They'll add me and then they'll send me a DM. It's the milkman_B. If people want to send me messages or whatnot, that's usually how I get in touch with the viewers of the videos, or how they get in touch with me. So yeah, I like to help as much as possible. But like I said, I try to keep it limited because, again, this is your future as a student. You know, once you are going to graduate, you should have the ability to go out and adventure, right? I don't think people should be scared to go out and figure things out on their own. Because you know, if you think about it, in back in the day, people had to cross oceans to find out what was in another island. So if we're scared to just, you know, attend a university or take a 3-4 hour drive to go to university and find out how it is, you know, there's something we should be working on.
I guess I got 2 more questions for you. I got some questions from the audience as well too.
Sure, for sure.
We're in a society of instant gratification. You know, people are saying, you know what, I just wanna do YouTube, or I just wanna, you know, do TikTok. I don't need to go to school. I can speak from a YouTuber's perspective. I want to hear from you. What advantage did post-secondary give you when you started doing YouTube, compared to your peers who probably just did YouTube anyways and, like, just jumped in? What advantages could you say you gained?
Okay, so so as I said earlier, so I took communication. So what communications allowed me to do is analyze some of the things that are going on in the background of, you know, your channel. So they say, there's a saying, the players change but the game remains the same. Just because
you gotta repeat that one right there.
Rewind. So yeah, they say the players change but the game remains the same. So, you know, before, people used to deal with radio, like I said, they used to deal with television. Now we're dealing with the internet. Once you have that fundamental about, like, the theory, so how are you disseminating your information to the audience? Not only that, but who is your audience? Do you know who you're trying to capture? And just stuff like that you learn in post-secondary. In university. So what I realized that this was an advantage for me, because a lot of times I try to incorporate other content creators with my videos. I'll reach out to people on Instagram and say, hey, do you want to collab? And when I try to give them, you know, a bit of information in regards to things that could help them with their channel, I'm not saying that I'm the greatest YouTuber ever, but just things that I see that I went through that may be able to help them a little bit. It seems like I'm just speaking to someone in a different language. So I could see right there that, you know, going to post-secondary actually helped me in terms of not only, you know, helping build the channel, but also creating a brand. Because, you know, the talent is, you could say the talent is only 5%, 95% is the business, the things that are going on, you know, behind the scenes. So once you have an idea of what you could expect or where you could direct what you're trying to do, you'll have an upper hand. So definitely post-secondary school is one of those things that'll help you do so.
I like that. You know, they say talent, hard work beats talent when talent don't work. You know, putting in 4 years for communication, that's that hard work. So now your talent is just the extra cherry on top.
Exactly.
So, you know, big ups to you on that, big time. Why did you call yourself Milkman?
I always get that question. The reason why I call myself Milkman is because one of my mantras, one thing that I try to strive for, is to always have integrity. So what that means is, so basically my motto is I always deliver. Back in the days, the milkman used to deliver milk directly to your house, right? So my motto or my promise to myself is I have to continue to deliver. As you see, I'm wearing cream, almost white. So
you got that milk. You got that milk.
That's it. That's it. Yeah. You already know. So yeah, basically that's the reason. I always have to deliver and continue to deliver as much as I can.
I like that you said something earlier as well too. A lot of people feel like even some of those that are in high school who possibly have kind of an image for themselves, a brand that they're putting out. Continuing that brand while you're in post-secondary, not necessarily feeling like you have to stop it and just focus on school. Were you kind of building your brand up while in university? Because I could say for someone like myself, I was doing some of the biggest videos while I was in university and using kind of like the theoretical knowledge I was using to create this video, but in a funny way. We did, nice. Things Toronto people said and videos like that. How were you able to kind of keep that consistency for yourself while in school and then after school kind of continuing on that?
For sure. You're lucky that you're able to do that. So while I was in school, I was actually DJing, but I still had the name The Milkman, right? But I was DJing, and when it came to the house parties that we were doing, you always have to deliver. You have to deliver a pop-in house party. If I ever did a house party and you didn't hear anything afterwards, because usually when you have a nice party, people would message you after and say, "That was lit, man. I can't wait for the next one." So I would feel personally like I didn't do my job. I didn't deliver when we didn't get messages like that. It was me and my brother Jupe. We would do these house parties and at York, and everyone would talk about it. So yeah, like you said, that helped out with the brand and continuing to live by those ideas and those ideals. But how that helped going post university was the network that I was able to create at university. And that's one thing I like to tell a lot of people who are going to university is that don't just go there to study, but go there to create a network of people, because you never know who you're going to meet, right? Like in your class, you could meet someone whose dad is like Sultan of the United Arab Emirates, right? So you never know the connections that you could have that will help you out in the future. So always be open to the people that you're going to meet, and also the people that are in your class or the first years. They're in the same position you are. They don't know what to expect. They're also a bit lost. So you could also use that as a driving force to say, hey, you know what? It's not as bad for me. This person had to come from the other side of the world. Meanwhile, I just had to drive down the street to this university. So is my situation really that bad being in this new environment? And always network. You never know whose day you might be able to, you'll be able to brighten up. And again, with the YouTube channel, that helps out too. So I hope that answered your question. I kind of went off on
that's the way it is. I feel like as creatives, there's we have a very like non-linear way of thinking when we answer things. You know what I mean? Sure. And I feel like that's the authenticity that makes us creative. So big ups to everything you're doing. Milkman TV. I'm gonna make sure I subscribe. Make sure you subscribe back, eh?
Hey, yeah. No. Beyond that, we need to do something, man. We need to link up. And
I mean, my brother, we can talk about that one after air. You know what I mean?
Everyone in the comments, if you don't see any project with me and Femi, hit up Femi because I'm down. So we're putting him on the hot seat right now.
Sounds good. So right now, sure. I'm sure everyone in the comments is excited. We're going back to our chef. He's gonna teach us how to cook something else. First of all, he started with the smoothie. Then we got the fajitas. Ooh. Now we're going to get on a little something else. So, you know what I mean? You guys get your pen and papers out. Okay. We're going to get back to the chef. Let's get it.
All right. Peace.
This meal can translate into multiple leftover meals, like I said before. If you're one person, half a chicken is probably enough, if not maybe too much for you. Chicken breasts are great the next day for chicken salad sandwiches. They go fantastic in tacos. I mean, the possibilities are endless. So definitely when you're thinking about quick meals, things that you can add to your repertoire, don't be afraid of seeing that whole chicken in the grocery store, because it might unlock a whole couple days worth of fantastic meals. I wanted you guys to see the different parts and what you can actually do with it. So here's 2 breasts, 2 thighs. Each of these have 2 pieces, so there's a leg and the thigh. you have the two wings, and then the carcass. So the reason I want to show you this is because the carcass, there is a lot of meat left on here that can be used for various things. So as you take these, and these can be used for your meals, or I would use these for my meal. I would save these for another meal, or use them for sandwiches, wraps, tacos, what it may be, whatever, or chicken salad sandwiches. So here's some more meat that you can pull off, take the time, and this can translate once again into whether it's meat that goes into a wrap, a taco, a frittata, a quiche. You know, the possibilities are endless and they're only limited by your imagination. Once again, this is one of those dishes derived from something we've had before, utilizing items, ingredients that we have around the house already. Here's the chicken that we had from our previously roasted chicken from yesterday. We took some of the pieces, scraped off the carcass, and we have clearly enough meat for some tacos. We have some cheese laying around the house. Any cheese is usable for these tacos. It's pretty much anything you want to put in will work. Whether they're fish tacos, ground beef tacos, leftover chicken tacos, shrimp tacos, scrambled egg tacos. I think you're starting to get the point. So right here we have our sour cream, our lettuce, our chicken. We're using cheddar cheese. We have pre-made salsa, and we also have diced tomatoes. You don't have to have both of them. You can omit any item you want. Once again, it's tacos. Be free with it, be imaginative with it, and just enjoy yourself. All right, so we're gonna start our tacos with a little bit of sour cream in each one of them. Don't need a lot. We're gonna go with our lettuce next. I had some spring mix in the fridge, so that's what I'm gonna use. Chili flakes, a little cayenne pepper when you're cooking the chicken. Cheddar cheese. So once again, this is a fresh salsa that I bought. It's not one of those bottle ones that's been sitting on the counter for who knows how long. You find this one in the fresh food aisle or in the fridge in your local grocery store. So with your tacos, you don't just have to use the corn tortillas. There are different varieties. You can get a blend, which is a 50-50 corn flour and white flour. You could also get just straight white flour tortillas, and they all work well. Find which one works best for you and create some delicious meals. Thanks guys. As you can see, it's not hard to create amazing, delicious meals. All it takes is a little bit of imagination and creativity. Thanks for coming by.
That was amazing. I'm sure you guys are enjoying the tacos. It's not Taco Tuesday, but we can make it Taco Friday. We're gonna go to the next video right now, and Aaron has his final message to all of you guys that are watching. Stay tuned. Seeing how it is a high school conference, we have a lot of students who got acceptance. I'm still trying to figure out the decision making. You're someone that got scholarships to a lot of D1 schools. You were mentioning Harvard and all these brand name, big up American schools, but you ended up, choosing, the Canadian school. What do you think helps with decision making? I'm just kind of picturing it as, a high school students, I have all these choices. What is something that you think helps to impact what you choose? What are some things on a checklist that you check off that, allowed you to kind of make your decision? And, do you regret it, or are you happy with the decision you made?
Great question. So I think that the number one thing you have to have is a solid support group. You need a support system of people that you can rely on and people that you can have complete trust in. And for me, that was my family and a couple of my closest friends. And when I was making that decision to not go Division I and to stay at home, I weighed in a lot of factors. Family was the biggest one for me, especially having lost my mom. I said I needed to make sure that the decision I'm going to make is going to benefit me, but it's not going to negatively affect me in the sense that I'm away and I'm missing my family, because then my focus won't be on the task at hand. Like if I'm going away to play Division I basketball and it's far away from my family can't watch, I'm not actually locked in on the basketball game and locked in on all that stuff. I'm more thinking about wishing my family was here and that type of stuff. So for me, family was a big thing. Secondly is it something that you're going to be able to look back on and say, I made that decision because it was right for me, or I made that decision because I got lost in the hype at the moment, or because my friends decided that they were going to this school, or because so-and-so who doesn't really have any vested interest in you has told you, oh, this school suits you, or you'll be good at this school, right? For me, I just wanted to make sure that whatever school I made, it wasn't because of a hype situation, or because, for instance, I went to McMaster, so it's a CIS school, not a Division I school. And think about it, if you're playing sports, Division I would be like the no-brainer. It's the way to go. Like, why wouldn't you go Division I? But education to me was a big priority. So I wasn't going to be one of the guys who just decided, okay, I'm going to go off and go to this Division I school just so that I can say I went Division I and yeah, I played Division I basketball. To me, there's a greater picture behind it, behind the story. And I think that whatever you set your mind to do, and for me, it was playing professional basketball, I said, can this CIS school help me? Now, what if basketball fails? And what if, God forbid, there's an injury and I can't go on? If I'm at a Division I school that is not really known for the education, and now I'm injured, now I'm doing school, but I'm not really getting the best education that I can. Is that something that's going to hurt me or help me in the long run? So that's another thing I asked myself. And I knew that going to McMaster and going into their kinesiology program, you needed an 88% average to get in. It was a very prestigious program. And so I said, for me, for the ability to still be able to get a scholarship, and be able to get that great education at one of the top 100 universities in the school, to me, staying grounded and staying level-headed and just having that support system in my family kind of reassure me that decision was going to be helpful and the right decision, and it wasn't going to lead to regrets. So I would say I didn't regret my decision at all. Of course, playing Division I basketball at a top school would have been very nice, but at the end of the day, my goal was to play professional basketball, and going to play professional basketball I was able to do, but along with that, I was able to obtain a degree and something that I could be proud of and something my family can be proud of. And knowing that if basketball ever did fail, I was able to jump right in to pursuing my postgraduate degree, or anything that I wanted to do without basketball, I would have been able to do with a McMaster degree. And so that, to me, that was, it kind of covered all my bases. And after the pros and the cons, when you outweigh everything, I would say the pros definitely outweighed the cons in that decision for myself.
That was amazing. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. So, we're coming close to the end of the program, but guess what? The best part is coming up right now. So remember when I mentioned earlier about free money? Can I get the money symbols, the money symbols, the money symbols? So the OBHS sends our sincere thanks to all our contributing guests today, including the Executive Director of the BBPA, Francis Del Sol, and JCA's Advocacy Chair, Yolande Davison. So right now we're just going to get into some talks about money. Let's get into that video.
Director of the Black Business and Professional Association. Happy to be here with the Ontario Black History Society and the Jamaican Canadian Association. So earlier this year, we awarded 108 Black students across Canada with the BBPA National Scholarships. And this has been ongoing for the last 34 years. Our scholarship applications increased significantly this year. We got over 1,500 applications, and we were able to offer 108 scholarships. But the sad reality of these numbers is that over 1,400 students with financial need went unaided. So I'm encouraging the students not to be discouraged. We plan to do more and we plan to do better in 2021 because our work continues. We will seek additional funding to help the qualified and in-need students complete their post-secondary education, because we know the percentage of Black students who drop out is significantly higher than the rest of than the rest of society. And we know that that is due to a lack of cultural training with educators, facilitators, and teachers. And so we plan to do more, and we just want you to remain encouraged as we traverse this whole new world of how do we get over the barriers of systemic discrimination that inhibit you or their students from getting additional funding.
My name is Yolande Davidson, and I am the chair of the Jamaican Canadian Association Scholarship Awards Program. And I'm happy to be here as well to share information about the JCA Scholarship Program, which just concluded its 18th year. We're very pleased about that, and having been around for so many years to support young people from the Black community to access post-secondary education. You know, as Francis mentioned, the issues with systemic racism are longstanding and deep, and we do, as a community, you know, spend a lot of time talking about pushing our young people towards academic excellence, and we also need to be having the conversation about how to help them stay in post-secondary settings once they get there because of financial hurdles that they may encounter. So scholarship programs like the JCAs and like BBPAs are really focused in that direction. And in particular, I think perhaps differently than other scholarship programs that may be available from schools or other mainstream organizations, really focused on leadership in a different kind of way, in recognizing that our students excel academically, but a lot of the time also demonstrate significant leadership in their communities, in their schools, and in every place that they may be. And making sure that those efforts are recognized through programs like this, in addition to providing the academic support that they need.
Our application process starts in May. So we've just closed the 2020 application guide. So it would start again in May 2021. That's the tentative date. But I would urge students to check the BBPA website, which is bbpa.org, to make sure that they are, you know, that doesn't change. But it is tentative for May 2021, when we will open up a new slate of applications.
Similarly, for the JCA Scholarship Program, our cycle starts in the spring. So typically end of April, early May is when we open our program cycle for online applications. And applications are usually open until early July, just after Canada Day. And then we spend the summer period reviewing applications that come in. We receive an average of about 300 applications annually for the 30 to 40 scholarships that we have. So our cycle is essentially early spring, April, May through the summer, and our program concludes in September when we actually award the scholarships to successful applicants.
So our scholarships range from $1,000 to $7,500. And it depends, there is criteria, it depends on your financial need, your community service, and academic excellence. Those are the three areas that we look at. And we recognize that some students just don't have the financial capacity, but aren't doing well in school, again, because of limitations at home. So what we're doing with awarding even the low-end scholarships is to encourage them. It's to say, here, we believe in you. This is an opportunity to give you a good start. So we're doing that, and so we have a wide range. And like I said, because we offered 108 scholarships, you know, most of them are on the high end, with the 5,000 to 7,000, and some of those scholarships are 4-year scholarships. So they get that money consistently year over year, as long as they remain in school and as long as they perform to the expectation of the scholarship donor and the BBPA.
JCA scholarships are primarily focused on supporting students who are entering their first year of post-secondary studies. The majority of scholarships are geared in that direction. However, we do have some scholarships that are open to students in upper year studies, second, third, and fourth year studies, in undergraduate university or college programs. We do only fund studies for studies that are being pursued in the province of Ontario. So you have to be attending an institution in the province of Ontario. And then beyond that, the field of criteria in terms of field of study are quite wide open, because we have a range of donors who themselves work or have worked in a range of professions. And so we have scholarships that are geared towards people pursuing education, or people pursuing music, or the arts in some form, people who are pursuing studies in STEM fields. So the field is quite open, and the criteria that are involved in each scholarship are listed under the descriptions on our website, which is www.jcaontario.org/scholarship. So the application process is online. You sort of fill out a basic form giving your biographical information, the field of study, the institution that you will be attending, and then we require from there proof of your academic performance through a transcript, whether it's a high school transcript if you're going to first year, or a university or college transcript if you are pursuing upper year studies, as well as your essay, and a summary of your financial need. And those are the main documents that we will use to evaluate your scholarship against the criteria that I've mentioned. So we have, as I said, a wide range of students who are interested. We have in our program actually former recipients who have now become donors themselves, which is always really nice to see, people paying it forward. Quite a number of our folks have come back around to support the initiative. And a great example that I can give of the scholarship and how it really impacted someone's life is we have a friend of the program who's a former recipient. When she was in undergraduate studies at York University, it really made a difference for her in being able to complete school in very real terms. And from there, she's gone on to pursue a PhD in history at Rutgers University in New Jersey. And she's specifically focusing on the histories of Black Canadian organizations, which is really unique. So the JCA has kind of come full circle in the sense that the JCA gave her a scholarship, and now her academic research is focused on organizations like the JCA and what they have helped Black communities to achieve.
Again, I would urge our students to apply, because they will find, you know, we are opening up the criteria. We are adding more. We are seeking more donors. We know that we can do more. And along with the JCA and other like-minded organizations, we recognize the need in our community. So what we do not want our young people to do is be discouraged and not apply. Take advantage. Take advantage. You might just get a scholarship if you apply.
Dr. Ezra Nesbitt is one of our most prolific donors and one of our foundation donors from being with the program from the very beginning. And he's quite generous. On average, each year he donates about 4 scholarships, sometimes more. This year he donated 9 in significant value. And he's the type of person who also likes to keep in touch with his students and follow them through their academic journey and check in and, you know, see if there's any other way that he can support them throughout. So we always like to recognize Dr. Nesbitt for the efforts that he puts forward, not just in the JCA, but in the community in general. But of course, in the context of our program, he's a very generous donor. We have a scholarship from Dr. Marianne Chambers, who's a former member of provincial parliament and Minister of Children and Youth Services, and a longstanding achiever in the financial services sector as well. So she is another individual who's very committed to the program, also really interested in leadership of different kinds, values very much academic performance, as we all do, but really interested in hearing from students who've had to overcome particular challenges in their lives. So her scholarship is always one where we really get to sort of see the different types of experiences young people have in their lives in school and in personal life as well. At the end of the day, the priority is for young people to be supported. And if there's a strong candidate, they will always consider that person. The JCA has 3 scholarships that we offer, and one of those is recently announced as the B. Denham Jolly Scholarship, which recognizes Mr. Denham Jolly, who is a luminary in our community. If the young folks watching this aren't aware of him, you should go look him up. He was the person who started the first Black-owned radio station in Canada, which you might know is the Move 93.5. Back in those days, it was called Flow 93.5, but he's a prolific giver in the community as well, and a philanthropist, and so we recognize him with a scholarship. And many, many other folks. I could, you know, as I said, there are over 40, so I could spend a lot of time naming them, but the essence really is for you to understand that all of these folks who I've named and the others who I haven't, who are supportive, are here to ensure that you have the resources that you need to pursue post-secondary studies, and to ensure that your stories and your achievements as young Black people are shown in a positive light. Too many times we hear about the alternative narrative, and there are so many of our young people, including the folks watching this now, who are doing great things and who will go on to do great things. And we want you to know that we see that we're proud of you, and that we want to support you in any way that we can on your journey.
Guess what, guys? If I offended you, it's almost that time of the night. Do we have one more video? Are we saying goodbye? I think we're gonna be saying goodbye. I see a lot of comments. I see a lot of comments. We're gonna review all of these questions, post the frequently asked questions on the toolkit, and host more webinars. Remember, the next webinar that's taking place is December the 4th. I know a lot of you had questions. Some of you had friends that probably couldn't make it today. I think this video is gonna be saved, so make sure you guys watch it with Deborah. So remember, December 4th is the next webinar with Deborah Pert from UTM, University of Toronto. A lot of people are asking about websites and things of that sort. Again, go on the OBHS website and you can find the toolkit. The toolkit has all the info. It's the plug. It's the key. It's the Nigerian jollof fries. It's the jerk chicken. It's the poutine. It's the fruit of what you guys need right now. I had such a good time hosting this. As you can see, the website is right here. Remember, make sure you write it down. Go check it out. Go search everything. Everybody can add me to my socials as well. YouTube channel, it's Mr. Lawson. Instagram, Femi Lawson. You know, shout out to everybody that came through today. It's been a great time. Right now it's Friday night. Me, I'm about to party. I don't know about you guys, but you know, I'm out. Thanks a lot for having me. Big up to OBHS, everybody that was involved, and good luck to you going to school. It's a celebration. Jeez.